winter is coming. And I started knitting. My husband, he loves this red color. I'm making a muffler for him. You must be thinking, Kare Baba, Parumita Bodhi stays in these four walls and has no idea. But I know winter is coming. Today I called somebody to my house because she's a leader. She was the CEO of Child Relief and You, fondly called CRY.
Child Rights and You.
Child Rights and You. Okay, sorry, Child Rights and You. And she's now the trustee of the same organization. But when I looked at her, when she walked inside my house, I got very confused because the way she looked. So let's hear it from the horse's mouth. Let's welcome Pervin Varma. Thank you, Pervin. I hope I pronounced your name correctly.
Well, it's Pervin, but it's fine.
Pervin.
Yeah.
We Bengalis have this problem with R and R, and I still don't know what is the difference. So, Pervin, when I looked at you, I thought that the whole idea of a social worker is like you have a jhola bag and Bengal cotton sari and Kolhapuri chappal, but you are in very masculine clothes. So
Masculine?
I am confused because you are wearing pants.
Oh, okay.
So any particular reason?
Well, I think that is the stereotype of the social worker, that they have the jhola and the kurta or the Bengal sari. But I think it's just, I think people just wear what they're comfortable. You'll be surprised to see all the range of clothes that people wear in the social sector.
Yeah, I'm also comfortable, but I don't like to cover myself up. I am wearing a shaya, I call it the petticoat, underneath my nightie. But masculine clothes, when I see leaders or I hear about leaders, I only can picturize male. It's a male dominated society. Men, they rule the world. It's a fact. But in this field, you are a woman and you are a leader. Somehow it is not, I can't digest it. But tell me, Pervin, okay, my R, okay.
No, please go ahead and say Pervin. It doesn't matter, I'm used to it.
Okay, I'll call you Pervin. Okay.
Yes.
Pervin, from advertising, and you worked there for 3 years, to joining the social sector, how did you do the jump?
Yeah, so I think it was quite natural actually, in the sense that I really enjoyed my time in advertising. I met my husband there and friends that have been lifelong friends actually. And it was a good fun place to work, particularly Lintas and the place that and some of the teams that I worked with. But I think for me, I was, we would work sometimes 20 hours and 18 hours and we'd be doing all kinds of crazy, making endless amount of slides. And I remember I was working on a washing machine account and it was some 4 in the morning and I was asking myself, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I realized I didn't care whether the washing machine sold or not. I really didn't give a damn whether the washing machine sold. And so at that point, I think that was, I realized that I just want to be able to do something that if I was working at 4 in the morning and I asked myself, why am I doing this? I just wanted to have an answer that said, whatever I'm doing, it matters and it's meaningful to me. So I think in 1990 when I got married and moved to Bombay, Lintas had a policy that husbands and wives couldn't work in the same organization. And I was quite clear that advertising, I was not looking at a big career in advertising. So I decided to kind of look out for something else. And it was an opportunity then for me to explore. I'd always been interested in the social sector. I'm not sure why. Maybe because both my parents were doctors. So the idea of service somewhere or giving back was part of what I grew up with. And so I thought about children. I did some voluntary work with the School for the Deaf, ran away from there because I didn't know what to do with the kids directly. And then, I mean, really, truly serendipitously, I encountered CRY. And at that time, and CRY didn't work directly with children. It was raising resources and creating awareness for and about children. And we were supporting organizations that were working directly with children. And so they were looking for somebody in communications. And I had some experience thanks to my advertising background. So that's how I kind of joined Cry, and kind of, so I, almost stumbled into it. And then, well, I guess I thought I'd be there for 6 months, a year, 2 years. I didn't think I'd be there, beyond that. And then I ended up being there for 14 years, and now it's almost 27 years, and I'm still associated with it. So it pretty much changed my life, yeah.
Okay. Whenever we think about any male-dominated work like, say, military or government jobs, we can associate that with males. But say social work or teaching jobs, it's always with females. That is how any normal person will associate with. It's synonymous. So was it also a conscious decision for you?
No, I don't think it had anything to do with my gender in that sense. I think it had more to do with what I wish to do and what I wish to do with my life. And I think that's also a stereotype, because really, if I look at the sector and the sector that I worked in, and whether it was Cry or the various organizations we supported, there was a large number of men who worked in there, and a lot of the organizations that we supported were founded by men. Cry itself was founded by a man. And even now, I think it would be about 50% male and 50% female.
That's the ratio in your organization?
Yes, I would say, yeah, something around that today. So, so gender certainly didn't have anything to do with my decision making at that point in time. I think perhaps what I can say, at least initially, was that because my husband had he had a job in the corporate sector and all of that, financially it gave me the space to be able to do what I wanted, because Cry paid nothing at that point in time. I could not have survived on those salaries. So in the initial years, Cry had more women, because it didn't pay salaries enough for, say, a single or a person who was a sole income earner to be in Cry, whether that was a woman or a man. But over time, as we began to realize that we have to remunerate people, and people have to be able to live their lives, want to do this work, but also be able to support their families. We had far more men coming into the organization, and I know for myself also it became quite clear that this is where I would be, regardless of whether I was married or not, or whatever. This was the work that I would do, and I would then live within whatever I was able to earn.
It's a very general thing, no, Pervin, because when you talk about a woman who's, say, a married woman, who will stay at home, be a homemaker, and yet, maybe part-time she can become a social worker. So it gets very easy if you say that, you cannot pay. Because housewives don't have much demands,
So I'm talking mainly from my experience of working in Cry and a few organizations that I've been involved with. The work was full-time. The work required both commitment and heart and passion for doing something and making a difference, but it also required experience and expertise or an understanding of particular areas, whether it was finance, communications, marketing, development. So therefore, this was not work that was done as, okay, I can come in and give 2 hours or whatever. Those were volunteers. There were a lot of volunteers, both men and women, who would come in and volunteer. So we actually went out and got a salary grant from Ford Foundation in order that we could actually hire people to do particular roles. And then once we were able to raise enough resources on our own, we could support our own salary needs, as it were. So we had a significant number of people, individuals, both men and women, who were single income earners in their families. So their spouses weren't working, or we had single mothers, for example, who survived on Cry salaries, and it was full-time work. It was not just part-time, come in and do something and go back.
Today, I don't know, so many flights are going, cars, hawkers, which is a very usual thing outside my house.